Even I felt moved to tears at one point, just feeling the gravity of it all. And as all the charges were being listed against this guy, and it was just a very sobering and heartbreaking time, and not for the faint of heart. Hey, Survivor! Welcome to episode 119 of the Vibrant Survivor podcast. Justice is a long, slow road. It's one that can feel frustrating, it can be re-traumatizing, heartbreaking, and exhausting. But the truth doesn't need a verdict in order to be real. In today's episode, I'm sharing what I witnessed in court most recently, the emotional toll of seeking justice, and the lessons that you, survivor, can take away when navigating legal battles, whether for yourself or in support of someone else. But first, let's self-regulate with a 4-for-8 breathing exercise, if you'd like. Note that this episode deals with some heavy topics, so I invite you to take special care, take what serves you, and leave the rest. We'll inhale for 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 8. Ready? Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What do you notice when you exhale for 8? Grab your notebook and pen, and let's dig in. Hey, Survivor. Welcome to the Vibrant Survivor podcast. Do you want to disconnect from a narcissistic or toxic situation and heal? Are you Googling how to identify a narcissist, narcissistic abuse, and boundaries? Are you feeling stressed and lonely while trying to avoid being sucked back in and lied to again? Hey, I'm Lesley. As a busy wife and mom, I fell for the lies and manipulations of narcissists. I wasted my time, talents, and money on users who kept moving the goalposts. I wanted real relationships and business opportunities and to enjoy life with my family. Instead, I struggled with anxiety, panic attacks, and insomnia, and I couldn't trust my body or anybody until I took a holistic approach to healing. In this podcast, you'll find tips for healthy living, trauma healing, and boundaries so that you'll have the freedom, confidence, and inner peace to respond, not react, after narcissistic abuse. Take a deep breath in, let it out slowly, and just relax. This time's for you. Last week, I was in court to support Preston Lord's family during a settlement hearing for one of the 7 defendants charged with his murder. And a settlement hearing, by the way, is also called a settlement conference, and it's a pre-trial meeting between both sides, their attorneys, in front of a judge, where they negotiate and try to come to some sort of agreement to avoid going to trial, and it can save time and money and other resources and save everyone involved a lot of stress, especially the victims who can be re-traumatized by the rehashing of what has happened to them. Preston was a 16-year-old boy who was swarm attacked and brutally beaten at a Halloween party in October of 2023. And sadly, he died from his injuries 2 days later. As a trauma healing and wellness advocate, community member, and mom who also had a kid who was at that party, I stand with the Lord family on their long road to justice. Some of the things that I observed in the hearing last week were the defendant's demeanor, which was attentive, yet subdued, and at times with a look of resolve or surrender. And I noticed the courtroom atmosphere was very heavy and tense and eerily silent at times. And Preston's parents were sitting in the back corner of the well of the courtroom, visibly grieving. And I noticed that there were a lot of delays and a lot of confusion during this process. In fact, when we got there, we were sitting and waiting for the hearing to begin, and then it was announced that the hearing was going to be delayed by 2 hours. and that we were dismissed to go do whatever and then come back. There were also a lot of back and forth, a lot of private discussions between the attorneys and their clients, and the attorneys and the judge, and moments of waiting. And at one point, the defendant's attorneys kicked us all out of the courtroom so that they could talk with him privately in the well of the courtroom. Then we were invited to come back in. So just a lot going on. And the emotional toll of the hearing. As I mentioned, Preston's mom was crying, and at one point I noticed the defendant's mom was crying, and even I felt moved to tears at one point, just feeling the gravity of it all. And as all the charges were being listed against this guy, and it was just a very sobering and heartbreaking time, and not for the faint of heart. But at the end of the hearing, a plea agreement was reached, so 1 down, 6 to go. The trial date is set for this spring, so we'll see how many go to trial and how many other deals are struck. But either way, just gut-wrenching. That being said, here are 5 realities about seeking justice. Number 1, the emotional triggers are real. Being in court like this can stir up past trauma and deeply rooted pain. And we saw this last week. In fact, during her victim impact statement, Preston's mom literally said, every time we come to these hearings, it reopens the wound, and we have to relive this all over again. She also mentioned in her statement that we would rather be anywhere but here right now. As deeply painful and as triggering and traumatic as a hearing like this can be, it also can reveal how far you've come. And every trigger that you face can prove that you're healing, that you're aware, and strong enough to keep going. She stood 10 toes down, read a powerful victim impact statement, and saw it through. And I know it took a lot to do that and to be there. Number 2, staying grounded is your superpower. When you're in a space like a courtroom and dealing with something as heavy as a criminal court hearing, there's a lot of tension in the air, and you can actually be your own safe place. Little choices can make a huge impact. Things like breathing deeply, like the 448 breathing exercise that we do every week on the podcast. Connecting with a community member or friend or family member, familiar face, or just things like a color worn in solidarity or a fragrance can bring moments of comfort. And this all happened during this hearing last week, where I know at one point I could just feel myself, feeling anxious or overwhelmed. And I had to do the 448 breathing exercise while sitting in the hearing. At one point, I looked over and I noticed that Preston's mom looked really upset. And I made the decision to go over to her and to just let her know that I was here, to just connect with her, give her a hug. And I went over there and I let her know that I was there, and Preston's dad was there as well. Let them know I was there, gave her a hug, and I had told her when I walked over there, I said, I just want to let you know I'm here, and also I wore your favorite fragrance. And I had deliberately worn a fragrance that Preston's mom had complimented me on several hearings prior. So I gave her a big hug, and when she pulled back from the hug, she had this smile on her face. Just seeing her smile through her tears and through the trauma was powerful, and a reminder that the little things can bring unexpected moments of comfort. And even in my outfit, I had my orange graphic t-shirt on. It was a t-shirt that I purchased in support of the Lord family that was designed specifically for them. And I worked it into my outfit. Orange was Preston's favorite color. So just even that provided a connection to Preston, a show of solidarity and support along with the fragrance and reaching out. Those things can create powerful moments of peace. Number 3, you have to prepare for court like an athlete prepares for a game. Things like meditation, prayer, and specific prayer, nourishing your body with whole foods, real foods, and mentally preparing yourself or role-playing or practicing for the experience can not only help you to survive the day or the moment, they can also remind you of the power that you have within yourself. And last week, on the way to the hearing, I was listening to a meditation, praying specifically for soft hearts, justice to be served, for myself, to be able to show support and be a source of strength and encouragement, comfort. And I know that with the emotional impact of it all and the heaviness of it all, I felt tempted to go out afterwards and just eat my feelings and go get some vegan comfort food. I paused and considered, okay, I still have the rest of my day that I need to get through, and how am I going to feel later? Am I going to feel better really? Or would it be better to nourish my body with something so that I can get through the rest of my day, but also to support my system in light of the fact that I just sat through this hearing? And so I opted to go to True Foods and get a plain Tuscan kale salad with no cheese or breadcrumbs, and to have them throw one of their vegan burger patties on top that they make with whole foods. And I felt so much better. Like I felt fueled, not just full. And those are the kinds of things that can help you to find the strength to be able to forge ahead with whatever your next best step is on the road to justice. You're stronger than you think. Number 4, advocacy speaks even when you're silent. The way that you show up, from your presence to your quiet support, sends a message, whether you realize it or not. You never know who's watching and finding courage or just encouragement through your strength or your presence. And we saw that last week with Preston's family when I went over to let them know, hey, I'm here. Or even when they were leaving, I ran out to go give them another hug and just encourage them before they took off. Please take some time to do something special for yourself. Practice self-care, or even letting the attorneys know, hey, there are people here to support the family, and the work that you're doing to support the family, represent them, is appreciated, or even negotiating on their behalf is appreciated. And little things like that can make a huge difference and can help everyone to feel encouraged. Number 5, protecting your peace is not weakness. The system can be draining, let's be honest, but it doesn't have to, nor does it get to, define you. When you make the effort to stay present and focus on what you can control and look for little glimmers of hope, like having the right people in your corner, or getting a case resolved, or coming to an agreement or a settlement, that can help to keep you centered. Last week, there were a lot of things that weren't in any of our control. In the midst of all of that, watching them take one step at a time, whether it was meeting with their attorneys to discuss the terms of the settlement, to Preston's mom getting up in front of the judge and delivering her impact statement, to allowing the defendant to read his statement first before she read her victim impact statement, and connecting with supporters in the midst of it all. These are things that can help keep you centered when you're navigating something as complex and confusing and stressful, disappointing, frustrating as the legal system that's not designed to make you whole or the defendant whole and help you to have the clarity to be able to make your next best step. Survivor, justice isn't always immediate, as I'm seeing in these court hearings, and the process of it all can just feel exhausting. And I see it in the faces of the victims. I feel it when I go. But whether you're navigating the system yourself or standing beside someone else who is, you just have to take it one moment at a time and always look for those glimmers of hope. Remember, the wheels of justice turn slow, but truth will always show. Thanks for tuning in, Survivor. Your journey to justice is yours, so walk your path at your pace. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Hey, Survivor! Are you tired of feeling exhausted, stressed, lonely, and stuck in narcissistic relationships, and you just want closure and healing? I spent years rationalizing toxic relationships and dysfunctional environments in the name of community, connection, and career. As a result, I wasted my time, talents, and money on users who kept moving the goalposts. One of the worst was an alleged murderer who discarded me after I caught him lying, stopped helping him for free, and held my boundaries. Even though I dodged a bullet, I felt depressed, ashamed, and I doubted myself. I want you to know that you don't have to suffer in silence, feel alone, or crazy anymore. Come and experience the power of creating your own closure without the permission or participation of the narcissist. I've been no contact for over 4 years now, and I've grown personally and professionally. I have more clarity, stronger boundaries. I'm building a life and business that I've always wanted and enjoying real relationships. I know you want to break patterns of getting into toxic relationships, even if you don't mean to. And it feels so good to disconnect from dysfunction, set and hold boundaries, provide closure for myself, and focus on self-care. And to empower my kids to do the same. Go to closurecoachingsession.com right now and get ready to heal after narcissistic abuse. If this podcast has helped you understand who and what you're dealing with, sharpen your discernment, and move forward on your healing journey, share it with another survivor. Help me help others by leaving a review for the show. And let's connect on social. Take a screenshot, share it in your IG stories, find and tag me at The Vibrant Survivor, and I'll share your post too. I look forward to connecting with you on IG and seeing you back here. You're not alone and you're not crazy. Know who you're dealing with, know who you are. Take care, and I'll meet you back here next week. Bye-bye.